Well, the Astros played a tough and a hard-fought game against the Oakland A's. Well, guess what? They came to town. They beat us in extra innings. We're going to talk about this inconsistent offense and some words from one Ben Verlander about whether he thinks his brother, Justin, should be on the Astros playoff roster. Let's talk about it tonight.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Heisman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chansey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you joins for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Heisman. You can find me on X at Eric Talks Stros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can you find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. Find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube, and on Instagram, where I'm always positive, always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us. Go and give us a big fat thumbs up. Make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast and become an everydayer, like a lot of these people that are listening to us at 10:42 at night after the Astros dropped a game. And today's episode is dropped to you by Game Time. If you didn't have tickets to today's game, you could have gone to the game with the Game Time app. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So I know there were some highlights over the weekend. I know there's some lowlights over the weekend. But losing with 3 straight bunts, that just sucks. That shows that maybe the Astros should play small ball every once in a while instead of trying to hit a 2-run homer or whatever his situation was. But I think what happened here is the A's caught the Astros with their pants down, so to speak.
Oh, well, yeah. Look, Eric, Jimmy says you and I are in the lineup tomorrow. I don't know if that improves their chances, but hey, I will give it my best.
My knee's doing better. I could probably run just as good as Tucker.
I don't know, Eric. You might need a rehab stint. Look, even Kyle Tucker's proven that not having a rehab stint's not definitely the best plan of action, but was the only plan of action because of where we are in the season. So we understand that. Man, right. Kyle Tucker, 2 different opportunities to win the game. The first ball he hit in that first at bat in the 9th to hopefully to try to walk it off, Eric, just went foul. I mean, he was just so early on it. Had he waited a tad more, I mean, there were so many almost hits. I mean, if Jon Singleton hits a home run instead of a triple, you win the game. I mean, but this team is a victim of how their offense goes. Right. The A's have won 13 of their last 20 games on the road, and they have been playing better baseball. I honestly thought we would come in and take care of business because why? We took care of business against them when we were playing really bad. We've been playing a lot better lately. I mean, there are some good things that happened today. You know, you had Brian Abreu actually kill it tonight. Did great.
The bullpen looked good. Yeah.
I know, but the bunts, yeah, we need to. Someone goes, we're not very good at bunt defense. Yeah, look, we didn't. Look, you had to know it was coming,
right?
But that's not something you practice as much anymore. So when you're able to capitalize on that, hats off to the Oakland A's. They found a way to win. The Astros found a way to lose. But look, guys, it's not the end of the world. There was like, oh, we're not going to win the division now. No, that's just because of one game, really. I mean, right now, the Mariners are at home, and they are losing 7-2 right now in the 7th inning. I'll be real honest with you. I don't see them coming back. I mean, if they lose, we still have a 4.5 game lead. So as long as the Padres take care of business, it really, I mean, honestly, if it's a push, let's just say worst case scenario, Eric, the Astros lose tomorrow, they lose a series. They lose 2 out of 3.
Right.
Well, if the Padres win 3 out of 3 and they sweep the Mariners, then it really doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't freaking matter. As long as you don't lose ground in these next 2 games, I'm not okay with losing, but I also am not panicking and going to throw us out of the playoffs because of this one game.
Yes, and just the calculations, if the Mariners do lose, it'll be a 5-game lead again. So, but it's okay. The Astros have 17 games left. The Astros have got to, like I said the other day, they've got to treat the A's like they're going to the playoffs. They seem to play down to the opponents, and you have Sears that goes out there because the other guy got scratched, Beto, and then all of a sudden he goes out and does what he's done to the Astros all year, dominate them. And unfortunately, it's just a situation where certain pitchers just have the Astros numbers. As soon as you Sears got out of the game, you're able to capitalize on it. You had the triple, like you said. Then you had the bloop hit by Altuve. They scored some runs. But the Astros overall in this game, they were 2 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
Oh, yeah. No.
2 for 17.
Yeah, no, they they had our number. Someone's like, against the A's bullpen. I was like, well, Mason Miller's pretty darn good.
He threw 4 pitches. 4 pitches and 3 outs.
They were all 100 miles an hour. I know they were all swinging aggressively. Maybe they should have let him use a few bullets out of the chamber before they swung, but they didn't. Kyle Tucker going down looking on the last strikeout was very disheartening. I know he's just coming back, but gosh dang it, you cannot go down looking in that scenario. I think he was looking for a complete other pitch, and I think he was frozen. Like he just looked at that pitch like, yeah, like, okay, he got me on that one. Arrighetti had a bounce back start. He gave up the solo shot. There were 2 runs given up when he was in there. Arrighetti did his part, Eric. So the starting pitching did its part. And yes, you are right. Everyone is right here. Everyone's like, but Brett, you realize we can't play like this in the playoffs. Well, no, you know what, Sherlock? Of course I know we can't do that. And no, I'm not depending on the Mariners to lose. What I'm saying is, if the Astros lose 2 out of 3, and yes, I did say we were going to sweep them because I really thought we were. I mean, me saying we were going to sweep the A's, was that like some hard thing to believe?
No.
I mean, now that we lost, if we would have won, okay, we got to get 2 more. Here's my point. My whole reasoning, because I don't want to get my words misconstrued, my whole reasoning for mentioning the Mariners is, if in the case that the Astros do lose, when you leave this series, you still got baseball to play. If you stay 4.5 or even get a half game on the Mariners because you win 1 and maybe they lose 3 and you lose 2 out of 3, that's better than the Mariners sweeping the Padres and us getting beat by the Oakland A's. Then it's a problem. But it's not a problem if you don't lose ground or even gain a half game. Is that what I want? No, but you've got to take the good with the bad. And it's still a whole season. And it's still, you still have to play to the very last game. We still have 3 games against the Mariners. I think if you can get to a 6-game spread once you get to the Mariners series, there is, mathematically, I don't think they should be able to come back, because if they're only 1 more series after that, they're like the second to last series. So push it to 5 games, push it to 5.5 games, get a win tomorrow. Hopefully the Mariners lose. You get it to 5.5 games. And then I'm just saying, keep pace in front of them and everything else will take care of itself. Hopefully this offense, though, Eric, is not inconsistent in the postseason the way they've been all season long. Maybe they show up, they grind, they have the experience. So we have history to look back on, and hopefully they fix the home problems for the most part. They're at least scoring more runs, winning more games. So,
yeah. Actually, Brett, you're right. I was looking at Yahoo, the thing that first pops up, and they're not updated. So I went to MLB.com, and it does say 4 games right now. So if the Mariners do lose, it will be 4.5 games.
Yeah, 4.5 games.
But the Astros do need to just play better baseball. They've got to just get ready for this, and it's frustrating to see all this great work from bullpen. And something before we go out to a break, I saw this tweet today by Bob Nightingale. Only 3 teams since August 17th have a winning record. You have the Rangers with a 14-6 record, the Tigers with a 13-7 record, and you had the Astros with 11-10 record, but now they go back to 500 with this. So the American League, it's in a funk right now, and they've got to figure things out. And we'll go ahead and continue this after the break.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Game Time now has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. Listen up. This makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier than what I've been telling you. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Okay, look, you get a special deal when you go to Game Time. Why? Because I know for a fact from personal experience that they have great deals, seat views before you buy, the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. I'm telling you, you won't want to miss out on this opportunity. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time. What time is it? Game time.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Make us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check out the Locked On Astros podcast and Breaking Tea. I'm ambassador for Breaking Tea, and they came out with this awesome shirt. I'm gonna make sure I say it very slowly so I don't get in trouble for this. It says tuck around and find out. With Kyle Tucker coming back. So I love this. And I know that people are really down on Kyle Tucker. We knew this was going to happen. We knew that he was going to be slow out of gate and that he would have to be taking basically his rehab assignment with the Houston Astros. The Astros needed the offense. They need to get him back into the lineup. You have to expect some growing pains with Kyle Tucker. Hopefully, by the time October comes around, he'll be ready to go. Is he going to be stealing bases in the playoffs? I don't think so. But I think what you're going to see is I saw one swing today where he just kind of turned on the ball. It went foul, but he's making some contact, but it's not quite there. His timing's not there yet. It's going to take him some time. These are major league pitchers. They're not going to take it easy on him. So it's going to be a little bit of a growing pains. I see a lot of people saying send him down AAA, just get him some rehab. They technically can't at this point. Well, you probably can, but I don't think there's any need to at this point.
So, hey, Robert Cortez drops this little nugget. He said, I saw somewhere that Seattle must win 14 of their last 17 games to have a chance to make the playoffs. That sounds about right. I mean, the Astros have to basically not necessarily win out, but yeah, the Astros don't have any extra room themselves. But at the end of the day, it is what guys are going to be hot, what guys are going to be there. And I kind of want to bring this up because we've talked about it recently. You and I have gone back and forth on the Justin Verlander thing. And I've been very, very out on Justin Verlander, very like, I'm over this. I went through and I read a ton of comments on YouTube, and there's no love for Justin Verlander on our channel, which is fine. You all are entitled to your own opinion. I would never tell you to shy away. You're a self-thinker. Eric has his own thoughts. I have my own thoughts. We don't agree on everything, right, Eric? I mean, if you watch the show, you know that. We agree on a lot, but there are things we don't agree on. But I saw Ben Verlander's take from Flippin' Bats podcast, and I reached out to him because he is a friend of the show. And I said, Ben, is it okay if we play your video of what you said about Justin Verlander? He's like, sure, that would be awesome. Thank you for asking. And yeah, can we stop at the Hello Kitty nights? And what is up? Hold on. Before we get to Ben Verlander, what is up with me looking at my TV, and there is, look, I'm all for women wearing baseball jerseys. I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty good look. But when the dude you're with is wearing a Hello Kitty pink shirt and you're wearing the Astros jersey, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just cut from a different cloth there. That just seemed that was a little weird, bro. I was like, nah, that's not a good look. They showed the dude like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, come on, man. Like she should be wearing the Hello Kitty shirt. You should be wearing whatever. I can't do it. But hey, yeah. Let's go ahead and get to Ben Verlander, what he says about his brother, Justin Verlander.
Justin fit in here? And everyone's going to say, Ben, you're biased. Yes, you're right. But the truth of the matter is there are 3 weeks left of the season, and those starts are going to determine if he's on the playoff roster. 17 2/3 innings pitched since returning from a long injury. Before that, he had a 3.9 ERA. So now he comes back. He didn't really have a ramp up. Now you're facing big leaguers, and the dog days of summer during the season, they're absolutely rolling, and you're trying to catch up. So I don't think he's a lock right now to make the playoff rotation, but I do think he has 3 more starts to figure it out. And if you don't think Justin's going to figure it out, you're wrong. How many times have we heard this? He's washed. He's too old. He's getting Tommy John surgery at 40 years old. Cy Young, World Series, first World Series win. Mets are trading him back to the ALCS. He's been doubted so many times at this point. And I'm not saying people don't understand that he's one of the best pitchers of all time. I think people are just saying, all right, this is it. Age has caught up with him, and he's not the same pitcher anymore. Well, I would disagree with that. I think his stuff is there. His command's been awful, and I think he has 3 more starts to figure it out. 2 of his last 3 starts need to be good. He's an arm that you want in your rotation come October. He knows opposing hitters better than anybody. He knows how to pitch in October. That's huge. Experience is huge in October. That's why the Houston Astros are inevitable. Why? Because they know how to win when they need to. And having that veteran presence is a huge part of that. And having Justin a part of that in October is going to be huge for them. He's got to figure out his command. And if he doesn't do that, he might not be a part of the playoff rotation. If he does,
He says if he does well, then you'll see him. Then I'll see you in October. So basically, his case is, I think it's very level-headed. He says he hasn't performed well. He's not performing well. He's got 3 more starts. He's got to do good in 2 of those 3 starts. But it's like you said, they're not going to put him in the bullpen. They're absolutely not going to put him in the bullpen. And my thing is, as much as if Justin Verlander just goose eggs the last 3 games, which I highly doubt he does, I think probability's in his favor. I still have a hard time believing that Espada and Dana Brown and them are going to say, we can't have Justin Verlander on this playoff roster because he's Justin Verlander. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, look, guys, if he's on that mound and you don't feel like he should be, you just got to back him. But what is your take on what Ben Verlander said? I liked it.
Well, I think it was, I don't think he meant it this way, but I love the way he said the Mets traded him to the ALCS. It just kind of, Astros keep on going back to ALCS. He didn't mean that. He was just listing out the things, but the way it came out was the Mets traded him to go to the ALCS. But that's basically what I've been saying. And it's too soon to say he's not ready. Right. Does he look ready? No. But that's why I said you've got to give somebody like Justin Verlander a chance to figure things out, because he has in the past figured it out. Does he have the same stuff anymore? No. Is Father Time finally catching up to him? Maybe. But he has 3 starts to figure it out. And if he does figure it out, he's going to be a much better pitcher. And I like the way Ben said it. He's had all the doubts before. Tommy John, you're never going to pitch again. And he's come back and done it. So I think if anybody can figure things out, and like you said several times, nobody's as mad as Justin Verlander is. Right. So he's going to go out there. He's going to figure out what the heck's wrong with his delivery. Is it his control? Is it his mechanics? There's something that's not there. And he's going to try to fix it. And even Jeff Blum was talking about it on the podcast, on the broadcast today. He was saying that, well, he's got to pitch better if he wants to be in the Astros rotation in the playoffs. So this is not just us talking about it. This is probably going on in the front office. This is going on in the probably clubhouse. And Joe Espada is definitely thinking about this as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, you need someone like Verlander to figure out, because you do want him on the mound. I know he doesn't have the best record in the playoffs, but Ben does make a good point in that he knows pretty much every batter in this league. He knows how to approach it. He knows how to attack it. He knows how to wash a bad start. He knows how to wash a bad outing. And so just his experience alone and they didn't bring him back to not be a part of this playoff roster. But at the end of the day, the offense has got to support what the pitchers are doing. If a pitcher gives up 2 or 3 or 4 runs, your offense should be able to back that up.
Yeah, and if Justin Verlander continues to pitch like that, I'm okay if he's out of the playoff rotation. We'll continue this conversation next.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Astros. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com today. It is America's #1 sportsbook. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. Well, we got something a little bit different for you, something that will please your listening ears and your watching eyes. That's right. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and you'll get 3 weeks free of the NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. That's right. Then with your YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out of market game. All you need is a Google account, a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. From money lines to prop bets and so much more, FanDuel.com is America's #1 sportsbook. Check it out. Download it today. It is America's #1 sportsbook.
Hey, you. That's right, you, the person watching this podcast. Go and make us your first listen. Go ahead and subscribe to us on your YouTube channel and become an everyday or somebody that listens to our podcast every day. Go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. Go ahead and watch everything on the Amazon Fire TV stick. Just go and search baseball, Astro Houston, and you can watch us on your big screen. And somebody actually wanted me to do that in the chat, so that's why I did that.
I was going to find that. Like Eric, it always gives me a chuckle. Thank you, Eric, for helping our audience to chuckle tonight, because there's a lot of people upset that they lost. And like you mentioned, 3 bunts. That's ridiculous. Come on. Yeah. What is this, 1983? Where's Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith and Tony Gwynn and Steve Garvey? I mean, those are names that I think of when I think bunts. Spike Owens, Terry Poole. I mean, those are the guys that used to bunt, right? Nobody bunts in baseball. We're just here to hit dingers. I mean, that seems to be the name of the game.
Well, chicks dig the long ball. That's what Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine taught us.
They always do. They always do. And speaking of long ball, you guys got to check out October 5th. We're trying to get a deal to kind of to become an official sponsor of ours temporarily. But man, the Celebrity Home Run Derby with Jose Canseco is going to be at Constellation Field. It's going to be fun. I'll be interviewing a lot of really cool players. I will not be hitting home runs. I don't think I qualify, but I am trying to talk myself into getting some hacks there on Constellation Field, see how far I can hit it. Maybe if I get to take swings, we can have someone guess like how far the furthest baseball I hit and they can win something. We'll do a little giveaway out of it.
I've taken batting practice at Minute Maid Park. It's definitely it's not with thousands and thousands of fans there, but right. It's like before the game, and it's a big ballpark, and there's a lot of pressure. So what these guys go through on a day in and day out basis is amazing. I know that they've painted the backdrop now; it's the hunter green and everything, but the offense is still struggling. And unfortunately, for 9 hits in this game, you only score. No, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. 10 hits in this game, 2 runs and 3 runs, but unfortunately, it didn't seem to matter. Like I knew once we tied this, and it went to extra innings, I just had this feeling in the back of my neck. The Astros they've been winning a little bit in extra innings this year, but they're just not good. I think they're 6 and 9 on the season in extra inning games.
Yeah, they're not good in extra innings. I mean, it's just the bottom line. And I knew when they did that. Now, I was hopeful when they got up, because I was like, oh my God, they're moving runners. I got people on. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Cool deal. But yeah, no, we didn't bunt. We wouldn't dare do that, right? But gosh, I mean, you see Kyle Tucker get up. Eric, I don't know that Kyle Tucker belongs in the 3-hole. I wouldn't have brought him back and put him in the 3-hole. He's not there. You need guys that are producing, have been producing for the last 2 months. Now, when I put up on X, like, what do you like about Joe Espada's lineup? Everybody loved it. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is a World Series lineup. This is a great lineup. I love it. All the guys are back together. And I'm like, but Tucker hasn't had any success in that 3-hole since coming back. He needs his timing. Maybe he needs a few at-bats to watch the pitcher before he gets up there. I don't know. But hopefully tomorrow he breaks out of it. But God, he had perfect opportunities. And hey, what is the latest on Chas McCormick? Okay, 5 and 10 in extra innings. Thank you, Uncle KRV. 5 and 10.
I think I'm giving the Astros too much credit there, then. I gave
5
them
and
extra
10,
win.
6 and 9. I think you just want to say 6 and 9. But McCormick left the game because when he slammed into the wall,
Right.
was it a wrist contusion?
It's wrist discomfort. They're going to do some imaging tomorrow. So it's discomfort. That means that we won't know anything until he has to have, I'm totally kidding here, surgery in a couple weeks or something. But it's just, I hate the word discomfort, but at least some of the players come out and say, yeah, I went ahead and I hurt my elbow or something, and this is what's going on. But I just think that situation where maybe it is just he just sprained his wrist a little bit running into the wall. It's just a little sore, maybe some ice, and just not play for a little bit. I think it's fine. But Joe's not returning my phone calls right now. He's a little bit mad because they haven't been winning as many games. But
I don't think it was Joe Espada. I think he was talking to a guy named Joe Esparza and was claiming. Yeah, he was claiming to be.
I actually knew somebody named Jose Esparza, so it could have been him.
It was probably Jose Esparza. That's right. He sounded a lot like Joe, though. Like I could have sworn it was him. But seriously, Chaz slept wrong. Oh, come on. No, he ran into the wall, guys. Come on. He actually had and I really think, and I don't know, I've got to go back and watch him slide in Boston, but I really think Bregman did something to his elbow in Boston when he slid. And he's made some diving grabs. The dude's active on the field. And so, and look, man, we may be watching the last season of Alex Bregman, which brings me to this point, Eric. Bryce Matthews got moved up to AAA. Corpus Christi Hook season pretty much is ending. The Space Cowboys will play a PCL championship 3 games, 23rd, 24th, 25th. I think I have that right. Here in Sugarland. So get your tickets. I believe I'm going to go out there to cover some of those games myself. But Bryce Matthews got his first knock tonight as a Space Cowboy. And actually, our friend Kenny Vandalorian, he reported that Bryce Matthews has been rostered with the Senaderos de San Juan in Puerto Rico to play winter ball. Okay. Bryce Matthews, the dude's working. And let me tell you, I'm excited. I'm wondering, could we see a Bryce Matthews call up next year? I mean, he has moved his way through the minor league system, and he looks every bit the part of his next step will be the pros, I think, sooner rather than later.
Well, if Carlos Correa, when he left, they had somebody in the waiting in the wings named Jeremy Pena. So I'm not saying Bryce Matthews is going to play third base for the Houston Astros, but we know he's a shortstop. But this is a possible situation where he could play next year. So if Bregman moves on, he could be an option. I know you have Whitcomb, you have several other people, you have Dubon. You don't want to anchor him to third base. So I think somebody like Matthews, the reason why the Astros are doing this, because some normally players with his degree, pedigree, they don't have to go to play winter ball. But I think what they want him to do is he did miss a little bit of time with injury, and they want to go ahead and get some more experience just so that he can be ready for next year. But he did also have a stolen base in that game as well. And Pedro Leon had his 28th of the season. So if he could ever figure out things at the big league level, granted, it was just a small cup of tea, but if he can ever get that experience, I think that Pedro Leon would be a good player. But it's good to have options down there.
So, and this is something we can talk about later on. Someone's asking what free agents I have my eye on. I mean, obviously, I want Kikuchi coming back 100%, but I'm wondering, Eric, is first base a position that they need to look at? I don't know who's going to be a free agent. I don't know who would be out there, and I know that some people have even talked a little bit, and I don't think he'll come here, a little bit about Garrett Cole possibly coming back to Houston. Can you imagine if we signed Kikuchi and brought back Garrett Cole? We would have a real problem on our hands because we would have too many good pitchers. Some of those guys might have to get traded.
Right.
And
no, you've seen what's happened this year, right? Where you can never have too many pitchers.
That's true. But it's like, where do you put them? Where do you put them? So anyways, that's something we'll have to banter around because I don't know what I mean. Look, Jon Singleton, I think, is good in the backup role. I think Jon Singleton would have done better than Yanner Diaz had a tough night at first. Yanner Diaz is just not well versed at first base. That's bound to happen. And look, Hector Neris we know he's not going to field the ball that great. He's not horrible, but it's got to be tough, dude. I know I couldn't jump off the mound and do that.
Yeah, and I think it's just a matter of I'd rather have Neris in a game than somebody like Ferguson. It was just bad luck. It was the fact that the A's just had a better game plan than Houston Astros. They executed and they got this victory. The A's have a good young team. They may not be winning right now, but they may be winning in the future. Guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. My name is Eric Heisman. He is Brett Chansey. Thank you. Go and become an everydayer. Go and subscribe to us, and we will see you tomorrow, hopefully talking Astros victory. Go Astros. Played music?
What?